Good morning, church. Henry Scougal was a Scottish theologian of the 17th century, and he said the perfection and happiness of the soul depends on love. His most recognized work, The Life of God in the Soul of Man, is a small book which was originally a letter to his friend where he was explaining true Christianity and he was giving spiritual counsel. And this work was almost universally praised by all the great leaders of that time, including George Whitefield, who worked with the Wesley brothers of the Methodist Church. And he said that he never really understood what true religion was until he had digested Scougal's exposition. Today's devotional is a summary of his thoughts and reflections on God's divine love. And he's saying that this God's divine love is so excellent. And in fact, to know God is by knowing and experiencing his divine love. That's how we will truly know God. And love is a powerful passion. And in fact, the worth and excellency of the soul should be measured by the object of its love. If the object of love is worthy, then the soul is experiencing perfection and happiness. And if it's unworthy, then the soul is going to be miserable. In fact, uh, Henry Scougal uh, is comparing true human love uh, with this divine love and saying, of course, the divine love is a lot more superior, but just so that we understand how it compares with true love and how excellent it is, he is comparing with human love, and he's saying that when two people love each other truly, they, without knowing, start resembling each other or imitating each other. And that is how we will imitate God when we receive God's love, this divine love, and then we are loving Him back. We become the image of God from glory to glory. We resemble Him. And therefore, we should have this ambition to really uh, go after the goodness of God, and we will not entertain any thought that would hinder our pursuit to go after this divine love. And this is we are made to embrace this infinite love of God, and just have this infinite joy that will come because of it. When we give our love, we give our everything. It is not possible to refuse anything to whom we truly love. We would readily give all that would make the beloved person happy. And love is the worthiest present we can offer unto God. Those unlimited submissions which we should be giving to this true love is only to the person who is worthy, and God is worthy of our love. And in fact, uh, Henry Scougal gives 6 points on why this divine love is so excellent. First one is the worth of the object is infinite. The soul will be miserable of the if the object of its love is not worthy and excellent. But in fact, if the object of love is God, is going to be infinitely worthy, and the capacity of the soul to achieve true joy will be so much more because of this. When our passions are designed to embrace this infinite goodness, we should not settle for anything less. And when we fix our soul on that supreme and all sufficient goodness, we find perfection in our souls. And the second reason is there is excellency in God's divine love, because there is certainty that we will be loved back. Our soul will be miserable if we are not loved back. The reciprocal affection is so much needed because we give our everything when we truly love God, and we would be sure that God is going to love us back so much more, because the nature of God is love. When we are going after divine love, it is impossible for God to hate us or to deny love uh, to a soul who is devoted to serve Him. He cannot disdain His own image. He has made us in His image, and He cannot hate it. So we are sure that we will get our the return of our love, and that is why it is so excellent. Third reason, there is excellency in God's divine love because of the presence of the beloved person. We all know that if you're truly loving a person, and the absence or separation of that person would make us miserable, we'll be impatient, we'll be waiting to meet that person again. But how happy are we when we are loving God, because He's ever present. The moment we open our eyes, we will see His presence, His glory, we can converse with Him, and even the darkest of the prisons or the wildest of the desert, we will be delighted because of His presence. Even there, we will have His presence. So, the fourth point is divine love makes us partake of an infinite happiness. Again, if the party we love is going to be miserable for whatever reason, it's going to impact us. We are going to be miserable too. But imagine God's divine love. God is infinitely happy and joyful within Himself, and this is not going to change ever. We will be partakers of this infinite happiness that God has by loving God, and that will make our soul so much better, so much more joyful. The fifth reason is a person who loves God finds sweetness in every dispensation. So if we are given this temporal enjoyments by God, we are pleased, we are thankful. But if He's disciplining us, then we still see His will, His concern, His care for us. So we have this thing that His will becomes our will, and we are offered to we offer ourselves a living sacrifice, and we will find sweetness in every situation. The sixth point is the duties of religion are delightful to a person who experiences His divine love. The experience of religion is tedious for many people, but it will be the highest pleasure and delight for the souls who are possessed with His divine love. These souls will rejoice to go up to the house of the Lord, to worship, to fellowship, and to talk about the gospel. There is a delight to adore His perfection, His beauty, and we will lay our troubles to Him, our burdens of our hearts, and we'll disdainfully reject anything that displeases this divine love, this divine God. And divine love elevates our soul. The highest and the most delightful pleasures the human nature is capable of are those which arise from a well placed affection. When a soul is built on these sure foundations, what happiness the soul would experience, what peace, what rest, what satisfaction the soul would experience. Our greatest desire will be to please His Maker. Jesus said in Matthew 22:37 that love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the greatest commandment. And the second is love your neighbor as yourself. We love because God has loved us. First John 4:19 says, or John 13:34 says, Jesus says, a new commandment I give to you, that you love one another just as I have loved you. You are to love one another. Christ's love to His disciples was self abandoning, self sacrificing love. Let us learn to love like Christ, because that's the only sure way of knowing God in the true sense. And then we receive His love, and then we mirror His love. Amen.